I just released a new video this morning, and since going live, we've had a lot of questions regarding the pump that I was kind of making fun of. Let me just show you the problem with it. Pew! I'm going to cut a very long story short, and we've tried multiple different ways of making this work, and short of re-tapping and drilling a hole in the pump down there, it's probably not going to get fixed. I'll show you why. First of all, this is the intake hose here, and this is the filter, and it has a, well, down in there, you can't see through it. That's because it's got a one-way valve on it, right? So as long as we fill this intake hose up with water, right, we should be able to get the prime on the pump because the water can't escape back out of it. The intake hose goes on down here. There's a little bit of a story with this, but don't worry about that. It's not the issue. So the intake hose goes on here. Now, normally you would be able to then fill and like what your hose connects into from the top, because that way air will bleed out of the system and either out of your outlet hose or it'll come out of your bleeder here. But Keen, in their wisdom, have put it on the side, which means that this is your bleeder valve. So the problem is you can't physically fill that up without like tipping the pump on its side, and you have to then fill this entire line. I know that sounds dumb to all the pump people out here, but what we've discovered is this line has to get filled, and you can't do that when you tip this on its side. It just doesn't work. So this needs to be there. They've even got the blank there for it, right? But they put it on the side. I don't know why they did that. So what ends up happening is you get an airlock in it, which means that you can get it to work. The way we've figured out how to get it to work now, because when that video was released, it was a brand new pump, and we're still trying to figure out all those little annoying things that happen with it. What we've found out now is that you have to be able to fill that hose with water with the one-way valve on it, and then once it's filled, you backfill the outlet hose as much as you can. You got to remember the outlet hose is a lot longer, and it's a lot more difficult to fill and keep water in it, and blah blah blah. There's a lot to it, right? It's harder in the field than what it sounds like in theory. So you got to fill that one, and then you've kind of got to, there's like a one-way check valve on that circular thing down there. So if you lift this hose up, it doesn't fill that up, right? But you still got to fill this hose up, otherwise it doesn't take a prime. Then you got to fill the inlet hose up, lift the inlet hose so that the water tips into that body while the pump's running, whilst keeping the suction end underwater, and then hope that the small bit of air that's still going to be trapped in that thing is going to get pushed through the system. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But it would all be solved if that was there. So I'm sure there's going to be a million people that deal with pumps all the time who are going to tell me how I can make this work a lot easier. I'd be definitely keen to hear your suggestions, but just bear in mind that that whole design would be solved if that air bleed valve was just sitting on top. Like, it's a 90-degree turn where they tap that hole, but I don't have the mechanical skills to re-tap that. I just have never done that in my life. Maybe that's something I should learn how to do, but I don't really want to do it on a pump that's worth a whole bunch of money.